Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, we'll be talking about transit Mercury conjunct one's natal Uranus. When we're talking about transits that involve Mercury, it can be about being objective, communication, thinking, learning, processing, assimilating information. And when we're talking about the transit of Mercury conjoining your natal Uranus, this could be about being objective, communicating, articulating, thinking, and learning about things that are connected with innovation. I mean, it could be like if you have it in Aquarius, say, it might be like that gravity, something like that gravity light that came out uh, some time ago. Something like things, new technology. I say Uranus and Aquarius because, of course, Aquarius could be associated with electricity. We're talking about a gravity light. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that. It could be also about thinking about our future. In some cases, if you have this in the fourth house as an example, it could be about your home. Uh, it could be about whether you might decide to move or maybe do some kind of renovation or expansion with it. If it's you have this in Sagittarius in your fourth house, it could be about your future of perhaps expanding your home in some cases, like a partition or just adding something to it. It can also be a time too where you might be communicating more with your friends and even talking more about them, whether it's for better or for worse. You may be much more voluble and loquacious regarding your friends at this time, and also it could be contemplating things as far as groups, clubs, and organizations go. Say if this is in Scorpio, it could be some kind of occult group, which can include astrology, perhaps, or something that's connected with some kind of like investigation. Um, this is something too, and looking at this as well, and it could also be where you might be communicating more about Uranus type subjects, whether it's astrology, astronomy, aerospace, could be rocket science, computers, electronics, innovation. These are the things you may be talking about more so than usual at this time, and your communications might be this time be a little bit more erratic and sporadic, more so than usual. And it could be a time too where I mean, looking at this, you might be more, looking at things, learning about things that might be, maybe unorthodox. If it's in, let's say, Sagittarius or the ninth house, it could be an unorthodox religion, perhaps, or some philosophical belief or outlook. You may be more inclined um, to be more objective regarding your goals, your aspirations, which ones are realistic, which ones are actually the ones that could be more fulfilling and that are attainable at this time. Remember, Mercury's connected with the rational mind, so it's thinking rationally perhaps about those matters at this time more so than usual, and also about really more communicating in groups and clubs and organizations at this time as well. Keep in mind, anatomically speaking, Uranus is associated with the ankles, the shins, the nerves, the lower legs, and the calves. So this could be a time, if you have any issues with them at this time, this could be a time where you're more apt to perhaps talk about them and formulate a plan if there's any issues with them to what are you going to do about it. If you procrastinate and haven't done much about any of these health related issues, if you do have them, this is a time where you might really want to become more learned about them and actually try to put your plan and your thoughts into action more if that is attainable. But Uranus is also connected with unexpected change, so there could be some news connected with this at this time, and there might be more where you may be more, talking a little bit more about this as well. Uranus is very spontaneous energy. It can be at some point in time somebody that from your early education might come out of the blue. There might be some news you receive that kind of shocks you or surprises you at this time. If it's in the third house, as an example, it could be something regarding, one of your neighbors, your neighborhood perhaps, or a cousin or a sibling. Um, this could be also a time too where you might be speaking more about matters connected with freedom and independence. And if this is an issue that you've suppressed for some time, this is a time where you might be more vocal about this and be thinking more about what you want to do as far as maybe extra. You might be trying to get yourself out of a situation that might be confining, and not and less likely to want to have to be set or in one in one place if you've had to do that for some time. And also too, and it could be whether it might be employment or what have you, or your home life. Now, ideas and new concepts might come very spontaneously. You might be able to extemporize more in your speech at this time, more so than usual. If it's in Scorpio, say, it could be something innovative with surgery. Some of you may have heard they had something where they were like microbots that have actually gone into people and operated on them. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that has actually transpired. It could be something like that, if this, for example, if this transit does occur in Scorpio, because Scorpio can be associated with surgery. And could also be too, or even something new with forensic, you know, uh, technology as well, if it's in Scorpio as an example. And this is a time too that siblings, you might have siblings, cousins, neighbors, maybe a little bit more eccentric, more so than usual, or be exhibiting some kind of bizarre behavior. I don't think necessarily you're going to find one of them riding a unicycle with a board on their head or anything, but you might be seeing some more idiosyncratic behavior with these people more so than usual at this time. And also, too, these siblings, cousins, and neighbors may be more prominent, maybe in some group that you might be involved in, or club or organization, in your goals, your aspirations at this time, and maybe a little bit more unpredictable at this time. Could also be where, again, going back to the innovative, ingenious thinking. Say if this is in Sagittarius, it could be something like those robotic umpires. I'm sure some of you may have heard of them. Robotics, I would say, can be connected with Uranus. Umpires, of course, is just is connected to sport in baseball. And this could be a time too where you might be taking really very spontaneous short journeys at this time. It could be going to places that are Uranus, like it could be some computer convention or electronics exposition, or something that is related to Uranus. It could be some space. If there's some kind of space museum, for example. And even it could be a time too where, if you haven't done this already, you might be more inclined or interested in your car, your vehicle, being connected to the internet at this time. And or it could be just getting some kind of new, something that's innovative for your vehicle at this time as well. And another way this could manifest, this could be about thinking, more, it's outside the box, thinking about your future, and also thinking about things that, things that are new, that maybe you just haven't simply tried before in general. You might have, there might be some news you may receive regarding some kind of disruption. Say if this is in Virgo or the sixth house, it could be something with your daily routine, or your disruption with your employment or schedule that might be thrown off course at this time. It could also be a time too where you might be dealing with more in some cases. Remember that this transit of Mercury is not a protracted or sustained transit. It's only, you're talking about a 5-degree, what I use as far as my orb, 3-degree applying orb for the conjunction, and 2-degree separation orb. We're talking about 5 degrees. It might only last about 3 days or so on average when Mercury is direct. So it's not something that's going to be that prolonged. Generally, nothing that serious would happen in this time. But I mean, you can have some issues like your vehicle might be experiencing some kind of electrical issues. Remember, vehicles are associated with local transportation and Mercury. Electrical issues can be connected with Uranus. Hold on a moment, people. Now, also too, this could be a time as well where you might be looking at things like with your hands, your arms, breathing, and really eyesight might go through some unanticipated change. It might not be, again, the fact that the transit is not very sustained or protracted. It can be ones that might just kind of come and go. It could be like an intermittent twitch in the eye, something kind of sporadic. Um, it could be an on and off breathing issue that you might maybe experience at this time, or you might see on your hand you might get some kind of nerve situation that might that might happen. Um, you might see because Uranus is connected with the unusual. Mercury can be associated with the hands. For example, might be some kind of redness you might see appear on a hand more so than usual. But generally, or there's something with this though. Remember that it's not going to be generally that sustained, or you might get like some twitch in your hand. It's something that's not very sustained or protracted, but you might be experiencing something unanticipated, or something Mercury related as far as anatomically. What we're talking about anatomically. Again, Mercury can be associated with the hands, the arms, the lungs, eyesight, breathing. And also, too, this could be about on a positive note, though. It could be a very auspicious time for formulating a plan to extricate yourself from some situation. Say if this is in Scorpio in the seventh house, it could be it could be from a controlling relationship, or maybe even from a stalker, maybe that you see as an open adversary. It can be something too, or even say if it's in the fourth house, it could be a family member. This could be something where you might more, again, going back to being more innovative in thought, but it could be also very beneficial for writing, doing some, computer electronic work because Mercury is connected with the hands. Uranus can be associated with computers and electronics. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay up.